Hey guys, it is Elsid again. I am going to be reviewing Love is Blind Brazil Season 4, Episodes 5 and 6. Thank you so much to all those who have watched and listened to my review and the live recap with a good friend of mine. I really do appreciate it. I'd like if you could take the time to like, share, subscribe, even hit the notification bell so you can know when my next recaps are dropping. Also, these are getting really good, really, really good. So I hope you would certainly join me till the end. They just dropped 4 episodes, so I'm doing 5 and 6 today, and then I will drop 7 and 8 just a little bit later. But thank you so much for all of you who have already joined me on this journey. So let's get into it. Episode 5. So we start off with Ingrid being okay. Ingrid, if you remember last time, when she was riding the ATV with Leandro and she was saying, "Let's go!" And Leandro put a little pedal to that gas. Ingrid fell off the ATV. We're happy to know that Ingrid was in one good spirits. She was not hurt. She said she was, a little bit wobbly, but she walked it off. And Ingrid is, this is why I love Ingrid. Ingrid not only got back on that ATV, Ingrid is like, I'm a drive. Because he was justifiably shaken up because, his driving led to her falling off. So he was a bit, apprehensive about driving more with her in the back. So Ingrid is like, "I'ma drive. I'ma put the gas to this, and we gonna get back on this horse, okay?" I love Ingrid. So we go to Evandro and Ariella, and they were saying we love catching up with everybody else. We love getting to know everyone, but she's worried about what her mother and grandmother would think of Evandro and the relationship. And she said she's had to leave relationships before because of what mom and grandma have said. I'm like, Ariella, mom and grandma cannot pick your mate. Mom and grandma cannot have that much to say. I do believe Ariella is in her 30s. It's like, what do you mean you've had to leave relationships because of them? I could understand their advice, but they can't make you leave a relationship. And that makes me, wonder about Ariella a whole lot more. So we go to Renata and Alexandre. Um, he said he's working on fire for the first time. He said, "Let me see what this fireplace could do. Let me see if I can get my hand." Because Patrick, his buddy, built a fire at his fireplace. So Alexander is like, "You can't leave me out. I'm gonna build a fire too." I like Alexandre. So he said that this is all great. This is a honeymoon, but living together in their day to day lives is where it gets real. I was saying this in my last recap. It truly is. When you don't know the person until you've seen them after a hard day of work, after you see them having a great day, or it was too much traffic and they just had a little bit of road rage, you need those day to day contacts to really get to know the person. So I'm glad to hear at least one couple is having that discussion. But he said he is ready to just jump on in, and she calls herself his honey bun. Now, chat, um, folks in the comments, I'd like you to tell me what is your favorite term of endearment. Because apparently Renata likes honey bun. And I can't look at a honey bun the same again, Renata, because I will be thinking of you. So he says he has a son and he's anxious about life with her because Renata does not have children. And she is ready to move to his place because she understands. Renata understands that, she is, less encumbered. She has less responsibility, meaning she doesn't have a kid that she has to consider with living arrangements and school and stuff like that. So we go to Patrick and Marilia. Patrick says at the get together he felt hostility from Renata. And it's because Mariella told her about the rumor that Patrick and Alexandre were just there to party, they were party boys, and they were not taking this seriously. So Patrick is like, Alexandre never told Renata that. That did not come from Alexandre. So, and put a pin in that, folks, because we're going to find out more about that in later episodes. Patrick said he has never trusted Renata because she tried to trip him up when he made a decision on Marilia, that she tried to trip him and catch him in a lie or catch him changing his mind. So he's like, I never trust Renata. But he will be polite to her, but he will definitely keep his distance. Mariella says, they all just left, and she's not going to let this affect their relationship. Okay. So we go to Vanessa and Leo. They are having their last dinner together. He was saying it's a great place to start a family because it's a beautiful view of the lake and it's very romantic. Come on, Leo. Leo's like, I'm ready to start this family now. But there's little parts of Leo when he gets a little too chipper that is telling me Leo could be a party boy. Leo may be, he's a lawyer and he may be the, work hard, party hard person. But it was that interaction with Vanessa. I was like, Leo, are you a party boy too? I'm wondering. Is it that we just see Patrick as more the party boy because he has a more friendly, open disposition, and you just keep it under wraps? I'm watching you, Leo. He asked Vanessa, are all her hookups in her phone and those messages, are they ready for him? And he is curious as to what their daily life would be. Because after this, folks, when they get back to the real world, they get their phones back. And there's a little caveat to that Brazil does that is very interesting. I'm not sure how it'll work with the US, but we'll get there when we get there. Evandra and Ariella have their last breakfast together. She says this whole trip has been intense for her. He doesn't know how to answer, he doesn't know what his answer would be if they were to decide today whether to get married or not. And they had an interesting conversation. She asked about his daughters and how, that would work and if he's going to go see them. And he said that he usually calls his ex first to let her know in advance when he is calling his daughters. Now, I thought his daughters were preteens. I don't know how it works, but I think that's one, it could be seen as very respectful. The girls may be too young, and in this economy, to have their own cell phone may not be the best thing. So, letting the mother know in advance so she can avail her phone to the girls to talk to their dad is very respectful. The other thing is like, Evandra, you could always get your girls a phone. So you could call them at any time and they're able to reach you at any time. It seems very, by the book, like he said. In the previous episode, he said the way they're handling co parenting is by the book. And this feels very by the book. I don't know if it's the same in Brazil, but there are burner phones that you could have and pay $45 a month. He stopped being a bodyguard. He is trading online $45 or whatever it is a month for a cell phone for his girls to share that they could reach him. Ain't that big of an expense. But I cannot count Evandro's pockets for him. Okay. I apologize, Evandro. I don't mean any disrespect, but I'm just thinking. So we go to Patrick and Marilia. They toast, they're having a good time. And here Patrick says, new life and same old phone. What Patrick means is same old connections. Because Patrick, dear, I know you probably have some loose ends, but I'm just speculating. And they ask, will they fight over phone use? Marilia did ask that. Like, who uses the phone the most? Are you attached to your phone or are you not? Which brings to mind, I do believe his name was Kenneth from the most recent Love is Blind for the US, where the camera showed him constantly on his phone, looked more at the phone than his fiance. Then we have Leandro and Ingrid. And Ingrid is so cute. I love Ingrid. Ingrid is like, remember what we talked about the last time? I'm going to need some room in your suitcase. This is where the sharing and caring starts because I need room in your suitcase because I can't fit it all. And she has, dealt with her social media connections before she went on Love is Blind. And she hopes Leandro did the same. Ingrid is saying, ain't nobody gonna be popping up, saying anything reckless to you because I done told them I done broke it off. I'm about to meet my fiance, my future husband. So she cleared out her social media connections. Then we have Leo and Vanessa, where Leo tells Vanessa, pick a card, any card. These are the tarot cards that Leo kind of reeled her in with because he said, if you pick me, you're going to see the rest of the deck. Vanessa picks the card titled The Lovers. And Leo is just elated because he said everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why Vanessa picked that, because we were meant to be. Renata and Alexandre, they toast to having, a great time on this honeymoon, and they are ready to jump forward. Evandro does tell, Ariella that it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but it's how they work through things that is going to be testament. Because there's so much they have not talked about. Now, Evandro, you're saying there's so much y'all have not talked about. And my question to you is, have you not talked about it because Ariella is just arguing all the time and seems quite snippy? Or are you not talking about it because you are refusing to talk about it? I just don't understand. You have this whole honeymoon, this whole time, and there's a lot you have not talked about your daily lives and whatever else. But folks, put a pin in that because Evandro has some stuff to say in the later episodes. So they all move in, just like the US. They all have apartments in the same building. Amazing and beautiful apartments. Oh my God, I wish I could be on the terrace of one of those apartments, not just because it's Brazil. If that apartment was over here in the States, those are some really, really nice, cute apartments. What's the budget? What's the budget, Netflix, for these apartments? So everybody's phones are waiting on them in the apartment. Now, folks, this is where it gets interesting. Apparently in Brazil, you get your partner's phone. You heard me. You get your partner's phone. They turn it on and you have the phone and you look through it. I was like, wow. Can you imagine that in the US? I would love to have a US season where they do that, where they hand your partner your phone and turn it on. I could just see the fireworks. I could see the fireworks right now. I can look at some of the other couples of the past. Can you imagine? And being able to look through their messages, their DMs. Oh my word. So we have Patrick. Patrick says he is the jealous type, very much so. And he, provokes Marilia, but then he says, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But when people do that to me, I'm like, there's some truth in that question before you're just kidding. There's some truth. It's like, I'm just kidding. No, you're trying to poke and see how I respond. And there may come a time when you are not kidding, but it is definitely a question that you're looking for the answer to. So Mar- Marilia tells him, I get jealous too. So watch it, buddy. Leandro, apparently, a source of a little bit of tension with him and Ingrid is that Leandro puts his white socks in with all the laundry. He's like, white socks and underwear, it don't matter. They could all be thrown in. And Ingrid is like, no, 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 sir. Whites go with whites and the other stuff go together. And Leandro's thing is, basically, it's my socks, it's on my feet, and nobody gonna see it. If it get dingy with the color, it is what it is. It's underwear. And Ingrid is like, not on my watch. Not on my watch. It was cute. It was big tension, but it was cute to be like, she's like, do your laundry how you want to do it, but if you touching mine, I need the whites with the whites. Ingrid was too funny. So they're unpacking in their apartment, and Renata tells Alexandre that she does not like a particular shirt he has. And he looks at it and is like, why? And then it clicks on him that he wore that shirt when they had an argument. And she wants him to toss the shirt out. Ladies, if you're having an argument with a gentleman, do you remember what he's wearing? I thought that was a little disturbing to me. You remember you had an argument with him in that shirt. And not only that, you want him to toss the shirt out. The shirt was not in an argument with you, Renata. The shirt did not argue with you. It was Alexandro. So do you want to toss him out too? I mean, really, young lady, the shirt is going to bring back the memories of the argument. Well, create a new memory. Come on. Then if every time you argue you got to throw away his clothes, do you have a clothing budget for him? I mean, oh my gosh. And she says she has certain outfits to make her more zen. And he's like, you're zen? She's like, yes, I'm very zen. He's like, I have never seen zen from you. So uh, Vanessa is with Leo, and she noticed that Rodrigo liked one of her photos, but he did not follow her on social media. And she thought that was very respectful of him to just like the photo, like, hey, Vanessa, I know what you look like. Hey, it's me, Rodrigo. But he did not connect to her on social media. You know, now, Leo, apparently, the ladies think he's quite handsome. And Vanessa doesn't like that the girls from the show not only have liked his pictures, but apparently Leo got several of the ladies following him on social media. Vanessa, girl, the man is your fiance. He has no control over who likes and who follows him on social media. So please be gentle. Please be gentle. This is no fault of his. Evandra and Ariella, um, he tells her he had a girl before he came to the pods and he broke things off with her. He told her things were done. He told her that he was going on Love is Blind and he was going to find someone to marry to be his wife. He was very open with the young lady. So he's saying if there's a text in my phone from this person, I did break it up with them and I did tell them where I was going and what I was doing. And we were amicable. So Ariella says, yeah, I'm gonna need to see the entire history of those text messages between the two of you. And Ivandra is like, why? The text messages say, I'm going on Love is Blind. I'll call you when it's over. There were also good morning texts. Good morning, babe. How are you doing? Also, a good morning. I'm heading to Love is Blind, babe. On the morning he was leaving for Love is Blind. Naturally, because of Ariella's reaction to stuff, she flips a lid. And I will ask this of those of you listening. He told the person he's going on Love is Blind to break it up with them. And he sent them a good morning text the morning he was leaving for Love is Blind, but he has had no further communication with them. It j I'm guessing he just said, "I'm going on Love is Blind to remind you we are done. I'm going on Love is Blind," kinda like, "Don't reach out to my phone and cause embarrassment for me." Ariella takes it as you were using this person as a placeholder, especially when you said, "I'll call you when it's over." Now we could see it as Ariella that, "Hey, I'm just going on this show. They casted me, and when I'm done, Imma call you." Or we could see it as, "I'm going on this show. I don't believe there's anybody on here that I'm gonna fall in love in 2 weeks and wanna marry within 30 days. So Imma just go on this show, handle my business, and then I'll call you when all of this is over. And if we're in the same place in our lives, we can rekindle. If not, it has been a pleasure." There are 2 ways to look at this. And my way of thinking is that he hasn't had any contact with her since, and he's had his phone back. He has not reached out with any "Good morning, babe." I'm not saying he's innocent at all. He shouldn't have been reaching out to her on the morning he left, but that's just me. But the way Ariella responds to it is, to me, off the deep end. It is, like, way off, like if this like if he was just caught red-handed with this woman in his presence. He said, "We had a hookup, we had a friendship, and, that was a different person before entering the pods." I'm not sure I could go all the way to a different person, Evandro, but I could understand where you're saying a different feelings before you entered the pod. You did not know you would even find a fiance. I could get that. But Ariella is going off on him. She is going off on Evandro. She has even stepped up to him with her. We don't see it. We see her back. He is sitting on the bed and she is just going off on him. He's like, he was not committed to the lady. They did not have a committed relationship. They had a situationship both parties were aware of. And she is like, "Oh, so the girl is trash. Oh, so she's trash. So you just gonna toss her away like she's trash. So if you're gonna toss her away, you gonna toss me away too like trash." Ariella, baby girl, calm down. Calm down. It screams to me like you've never had either a one night stand or have had a situationship where all parties involved know what it is. This ain't forever. This gonna be just for the moment. I'm guessing you've never experienced that. That both parties could be very open and honest that this ain't forever. It goes on and on that she knew there was more to it. There's got to be more to it. Something more he's not telling. And she thinks that she may be sounding crazy, but she's sure there's something to it. And not sure she wants this and to be with him. And asked him to leave before her sister arrives. She calls her sister. She's like, "I need a hug from somebody. I need a hug." And not from him, but he needs to get out so she could have time with her sister. Patrick and Marilia go to her apartment, and her dog Scott is there. Scott is a very small, white, fluffy dog. He's so cute. And Scott was just happy. He was jumping, doing backflips. I'm just joking, but he was very happy to see Mariella, and he seemed to have bonded with Patrick. He was playing around with Patrick, and Patrick totally says, "Your place is cooler than mine." And her plan, she says to us in the confessional, is for him to move in with her, not for her to move to his place. But Marilia has a beautiful accent wall with paintings of like exaggerated flowers and like very tall grass. Beautiful scenery. And she says that her mom painted it for her. Absolutely beautiful. If y'all have a chance, just pause it right there and see the beautiful art that her mom did on her wall. So we get back to Evandro and Ariella, and her sister Bianca comes over. He has left. And her sister says, Ariella is so emotional. She's very emotional. And Ariella confirms the pods were wonderful, everything was great, and she doesn't understand what has happened, but she knows there's more he's not telling her. So when Ariella tells the sister what has happened, the sister's like, he's been honest to you both. He told that lady things were done. He's going on the show to, find a fiance or not, but he has been honest with both of you. Ariella says it makes him look like a player. And the sister admits trust has been broken, but it's not a big deal. The sister's like, everybody has a past. Everybody has someone that could come out of the woodworks. Let it go. So Evandro comes back and he meets the sister. And Ariella goes in on Evandro. Don't treat me like an idiot, was what she was saying. And she was looking like she was a little bit tipsy. She was looking like it was, I don't want to say she was drunk, but she definitely had a couple beers, had some wine in what was shown to us on the table. Okay? So, next thing is, he says if she has unresolved issues, it is not his fault. Unresolved issues from her past relationships where she cannot trust him because she does not believe him. And she keeps saying, I am not dumb. And she keeps saying it out loud. The sister is worried that this can lead to a breakup because Ariella is just, I am not dumb. Don't treat me like a fool. It is very, very, you know, on the borderline of unhinged for me, considering what it was, considering what the argument is about. And Ariella keeps saying, I just want him to be honest. I just want him to be honest. But when he is honest, and he told you this before you saw the phone, you spaz out. So the sister before leaving said, let me give you a hug. She said, no, I don't want a hug. You just said before all this started that you wanted to hug somebody. That's why you called your sister. So you could talk to her and you can get your hug. And now you don't want the hug. She didn't even get up. The sister had to hug her while standing over her chair. Mm-mm-mm. Then we have Vanessa and Leo. They go meet his mother, Elaine. And he just hugs his mother so hard. Oh my gosh. It turns out, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Vanessa is very short to Leo's very tall frame. Turns out she is exactly the same height as his mother. It was so cute. The mother looked a little taller, and Leo said, Mom, take your shoes off. Y'all are the same height. Man, she took her shoes off, and they were exactly the same height. It was too cute. They talk about her job, um, and everything, and then realize, wait a minute, we've been having a good time chatting. Young lady, I don't know your name. That was the cutest thing. It's like, we are so comfortable and so good. Like, wait a minute. We have not talked. We haven't said it the name yet. We already gotten into jobs and where you live and everything. That was too funny. It turns out both women are um I'm guessing it's Catholic, the devout Catholic or devout Christians, because the mother likes to go to mass and Vanessa does too. So the mom is like, oh, I get a daughter-in-law who'll go to mass with me. That is awesome. And the mother just says, your energy attracts each other. It's the meeting of souls. So I agree with the mom, and I'm wondering if that's where Leo got the tarot cards. The energies match, and your energy is what's going to attract certain people to you. And I think both of them are at the point of their life, which is this is Leo and Vanessa, where they're going to attract positive. Leo and Vanessa, folks, are the only couple that's kind of like having a smooth sailing good time of it, but they have little quirks, but they talk about it. They talk about it, they have a mature conversation, they have said, and they get through it. Renata and Alexandro. They meet his son, Matteo. Oh my gosh, Alexandro, that is your son. Oh my gosh, from the hair to his smile and little dimple. Oh my gosh, Matteo is so cute. So Renata says that Alexandro is close to romance, but he's close to romance and showing of affection, but not with his son. And that is very interesting. So he is not the romantic type with a partner, but he is certainly hugging, kissing, holding his son and showing affection. So Renata is saying you can show affection. You're just choosing to show it to your son and not to your partner. Now that is very interesting because sometimes that happens like that and the person may not even be aware of it. And I think Alexandro may not be aware that he is overly affectionate with his kid while his partner is asking for a hug and he kind of like, shrinks away or goes and does something else. Quite interesting. Um, she said she will give the son time. Son looks to be about 5 or maybe 6, I'm not sure. I can't remember. But Renata seems to have a good way with kids. She bought him a gift, something, small, a little board game that they can play with him, a little soccer style game. And she also made him his favorite snack, which is chocolate pudding. And she made it from scratch, people. Renata was at that stove, melted that chocolate down, and then she was putting that stuff in the fridge. She made it from scratch. And that touched Alexandro. He did say that. He's like, she did absolutely awesome. It's not only she just got him his favorite dish, she made it for him. It really touched Alexandro. He has a heart, people. He does. He may seem a little aloof, but Alexandro has a heart. So we have Patrick and Marilia. We go meet, I do believe it was her friends. Um, he said he feels like his heart is such a mess because she is just so much. Um, it seems like she is just so much more than him and so much more to him. So his heart is in a mess. I think he's having moments of, I don't know if I'm good enough for this woman. She's so amazing. It's certain things Patrick says. The friend said that he's kind of slippery. He seems that way because his ring is on the chain and not on his finger. And they admit that they have not had a fight, not yet. And they they get him about the mix up. He explained the whole thing and they're like, okay, we can understand that. But Marilia was talking about, well, there's this other girl, Renata, and she had claimed Patrick. She had come back and said that, he had picked her. And I was like, Marilia, we don't need to go that far. We don't need to go all the way there. But her friend Fernanda said that their vibes match. It seems that Patrick and Marilia's vibe total match. And she gave him a 10 out of 10. And friend Marlene said, hold up a minute. 10 out of 10 is too much. He's a little slippery with that ring around his chain. And we only just met the man. Okay. 10 out of 10 is too much. I like that. I like that friend. Then we go to meet Leandro's family. And he only told his sister where he was going and for what. He's been gone, is it 2 weeks now? Or is it like a month? It's been a while, at least 3 weeks, because I think it's 2 weeks in the pod and then a week on the honeymoon. So at least 3 weeks. You been gone and you ain't tell your mama or your daddy where you going, what, and with who, and only your sister knew and she had to keep your secret? Mom says all this is too fast. This is way too fast. The sister who knew says she's not thrilled, but she will support him. But she keeps saying little things when Ingrid comes in. There were big hugs with Ingrid. Everybody welcomed her, said hello. They were polite. And he she admits that Leandro told her that his mom may be the biggest hurdle. So she is going to focus, Ingrid is going to focus on the mom. And the mom asked if this was a prank. And I was like, why would you think this is a prank? Golly. The dad asked if her kids' dad will have a problem with Leandro because what he doesn't want is that his son is there and the daughter's dad comes starting trouble because then our family need to get involved if we got to back him up. But Ingrid said that she has been the mom and dad for both her girls, and that is not a problem. They asked Ingrid. Ingrid says um, they go to his room, Leandro's room, to pick up more of his things and clothes, and Ingrid sees a picture he has with his ex-wife, and he asks, "Should I throw it away?" She's like, "No, you can keep pictures of your ex. That's fine." And his thing is the last picture that he has with his grandmother, his ex, which was his ex-wife at the time, is also in that photo. So Ingrid totally understood. And, I would ask you guys to put in a comment if your significant other, their ex-spouse, is in a picture with their family member, would you encourage them to keep it, or you like cut them out if you're gonna keep the picture? And he said he did not keep a lot of things from his previous marriage, but we saw he had a lot of things in the closet from the wedding. Different knickknacks from the wedding were in his closet. And Ingrid is like, yeah, that's different, keeping stuff from the wedding, especially since he had a tumultuous divorce. So Ingrid, the family asked her if she drinks. She said she does not drink a lot because of her family's history with alcohol. That is all she said. So we can only hazard a guess. Then we learned that Leandro used to drink a lot and party a lot. And he decided to give that up and stop drinking as much. You know, but he has I can't remember if it's his brother or brother-in-law named Bria said he would have fun with Leandro. They would drink and have a good time. It would be party. And I was wondering, when did he stop drinking and partying? Was it right before Love is Blind? Was it before his divorce? Was it years ago? Because it's kind of sounding recent. It's kind of sounded like we used to party. And maybe we'll give him a little grace. Maybe he used to go out and drink and party to take away from the complications of his marriage at the time. Just asking a question. So, um, she's a little frustrated, Ingrid, with his family because they would say little slide comments to her. And she's wondering if one, he hasn't told her certain things about his previous marriage. And also, she's wondering if his family not only one, probably still has contact with his ex, and two, if the family had a close relationship with his ex-wife. Now that can be the issue. I am very glad Ingrid can think of things like that. I'm very glad that Ingrid could say, hey, it may not be about me. It may be that the family still, is reeling from the divorce and haven't given up on that wife. on that daughter-in-law. And now here she comes. They know nothing about her, and so they are quite hesitant. I'm very glad Ingrid brought that up. And it doesn't help that Leandro did not speak up and talk to his family really about this. He seems to be mute, and I think it may be a I don't feel like I can respectfully, or I don't know how to respectfully speak up to my parents. Could be. I don't know where he falls. If he's the youngest, it was giving me the youngest energy. So you're the kid, you're not the oldest child, an oldest brother. It seems to give me I'm kind of bowing down because I'm the youngest and my sister and my brother are all older. That's what it's giving to me. Now we have Ivandro and Ariella. She keeps asking him, has he been honest? He's saying she's not listening to him. She's like, you told the woman before you were going on Love is Blind the morning of, good morning, love, or good morning, babe, you know, I'm going on Love is Blind. And she's so upset she is leaving. She is leaving the apartment, and she wrote him a note and left her ring. And she's like, he doesn't care if she leaves. And because she's still arguing, this is the moment where he's sitting on the bed trying to talk to her, say, hey, this is not what you're thinking. And she stands over him and is very firm and direct with him. She hates being the person who has to read her person's text messages, and it accuses him of having a deal with this girl. Like, I'm going to go on this show, but when I'm done, I'm going to come back to you. But he said she read backwards and she did not read his breakup text. And confirming he is engaged and not to contact him anymore. And she keeps beating herself up, saying, once again, I'm a fool. Once again, I'm an idiot. I'm falling for the dishonest guy. That ended episode 5. In episode 6, Patrick and Marilia end up taking a bike ride at night through the street in the town. It was beautiful. I have not taken a nighttime bike ride. It must be the person in me that nighttime bike riding may not be completely safe. But they were having a ball, where Patrick says he used to weigh over 265 pounds. So Patrick has the same thing of like Ariella. He said, I used to weigh 265 pounds. And when I decided to lose weight, I started riding my bike. And after riding my bike, I started doing triathlons. And he opens up to her about his hair loss, how he feels about that, and other things, other insecurities he may have. It was such a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful time. And I was like, I'd like to go out nighttime bike riding with my hubby. I'd like to do that. But then I'm thinking, where am I going to do that? Where it's safe? Because they were real late at night. There was nobody in the street. Nobody. You didn't even see a tumbleweed roll over. So we have Ingrid and Leandro. They're making breakfast, and she's like, he's eating all the time. He says, I eat all the time. And she's saying, your sister was a little snippy and rude to me. Okay. And he really let her down. He really let Ingrid down by not sticking up for her in the midst. And he said he'll let them know that they hurt Ingrid and how their reception and their conversation made her feel. And Ingrid reiterates, I don't think they took his divorce well, and she still thinks they may be in touch with his ex. That's just an inkling. Ingrid wants to talk finances. Apparently, Ingrid's house is under construction right now, so they cannot go live together. Once they get married, They will have to live apart. He'll have to live with his family, and she will live, I guess, with her family. But the money is needed to finish the construction, and the construction goes as far as the money allows. So it seems like gather money, do something, do a room, do a project. That's what it sounds like. So Ingrid is like, we need to talk about finances, how everything is going to go. Evandro and Ariella. He said, it sounded like a goodbye letter, but I don't know. That's what he said. Sounded like a goodbye letter. She said she needed space, and all of a sudden, ding dong, ding dong. Ariella is at the door. She said to let her speak first. She just needed a little space, and she said her last relationship was full of lies. Lies upon lies. He's asking her to please not blow up. Can we talk without a blow up? And she says, I had every reason to blow up. Okay. Um, Ariella, dear, you keep asking this man for transparency. You keep asking him to tell you, but when he tells you one thing, you blow up. You blow up. How is he supposed to give you the transparency if your reaction to that transparency is to hurl and spew and be on fire about it? You need to be able to take it in and have a civilized conversation. And she's like, this is why she can't be completely in love because of lack of transparency. Ariella, who hurt you? Because I'm thinking it's more than the ex that hurt you. So Patrick and Marilia meet her family. Her dad gives Patrick a great hug, and her dad, listen, y'all, her dad is who told her to go on the show. He told her to sign up to find love. And he said he was a bad father, but she forgave him. And when we hear the story, apparently Marilia's dad was he had a drug addiction, and he was even living on the streets. He said that damaged the relationship with his family. But now he runs a rehab clinic. He is known in the community to help others. And he said she never made him feel bad. She never judged him for the situation that he found himself in. She just always welcomed him with love. When I hear this, though I feel like hurt by what she endured and what the father endured, um, I'm wondering, Marilia, if this is why you excuse Patrick's behavior. This is why you excuse the ring. You let stuff go to the side. You're not judging him. You're going to let him be him. But in doing that, you are ignoring the red flags that are in front of your face. Yes, it was wonderful. Your father did what he needed to do, and he has had a wonderful life. He has since remarried, and he is now running a clinic in the community. Absolutely beautiful and a wonderful story. But in the takeaways of that story does not mean you don't judge and don't recognize red flags. That's what I took from that. It's like, ooh, Marilia, is it making no judging, making excuses for dad, transferring over to Patrick? Is this quest to keep the loved one and keep the love flowing, you ignore certain things and call it no judgment? Patrick said they made him feel welcomed. the dad and the stepmom, and her grandma came, and grandma was just so wonderful. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I have another grandson. There's a new grandson." But grandma said, "I don't know him. I'll be courteous, but I'm gonna be watching, but I will certainly welcome him to the family." So Vanessa and Leo go to her apartment. Said her apartment is really cozy. Cozy is a code word for small, okay? But it is really cozy. It was really nice apartment. It for a single woman, totally nice apartment. Then he sees pictures of her dad and says, "Ooh, Vanessa's dad in the pictures is intimidating." And he always got a little smirk, like he looking at you with a little smirk. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm intimidated before I even met this man." Then, then Leo finds some dice. These are some adult play dice that have different positions on the dice. So I'm guessing the game is you roll the dice and assume the position. Y'all can think what you think, but yes, it is a triple X dice. She said she's never used it. I've never used that dice ever, and I thought I hit it really well. Vanessa. Leo's like, these dice look worn. Y'all believe what you want to believe, but these dice look worn. Oh my gosh. Then he got a blindfold. He found the blindfold. Leo, you are finding too much. You are looking under the bed, in the closet. You're finding too much. He put on a blindfold. She's like, I've never used it. He's like, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we go to meet Vanessa's family, her mom and her dad. The dad notices the rings right away. Like, what we got here? What we doing? Nobody didn't talk to me. We engaged. What we doing? The dad said he doesn't understand this whole, love is blind, getting engaged in 2 weeks because he dated their mom for 4 years before they got married. So he believes in the slow burn, in the long game. Daddy's like, I don't know this. So tell me in the chat, because we know some of our grandparents have met and married in 2 weeks. Some have married in 2 days. Now Vanessa's dad is like, we waited 4 years. Now me, I've always said, I'll give 5 years because my biological clock is ticking. So I'll give a gentleman 5 years. And if in the first 2 years we ain't talking about marriage, future, and future assets, then I need to really assess in the third year. Luckily for me, um, I got engaged after a year and a half for my first marriage. And in this marriage, we got married after a year and a half. But I guess I'm older and I'm guessing wiser. So Leo does ask her dad there at the dinner table for his daughter's hand. And Vanessa said that's all she ever wanted was a gentleman that would ask her dad for her hand in marriage. And the dad says all he expects is for him to make her happy. Her dream has always been to have her dad's blessing, and she has it now. So Renata and Alexandre go to his apartment where he has a roommate named Baby. Okay, baby. Who are you and why are you hiding? Because your name isn't Baby. So that's an alias. At least you could have come up with something at least a little believable than Baby. I'm wondering if he's a DJ named DJ Baby because Alexandre says that is his business partner. So Alexandre's the roommate says, or business partner, says he can be explosive when he doesn't get his way. Alexandre, this sounds very ominous. What do you mean explosive? How explosive? And how much explosion happens? I have questions, Alexandre. I'm hoping it's explosive with your friend and not with your partner. The roommate just tells her, just get used to him. Or just let him get used to you. And Renata says the roommate is okay because she lives with her sister. She has a roommate as well. Alexandre has a simple room, and they notice it's a huge bed. He's like, it's big enough for 3 or 4. Ha 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 ha. Okay, Alexandre, you're not very funny. But it's a very plain, basic room. With bed, night table, dresser, wardrobe, but there are no pictures on the wall. Nothing. I wonder how long they have lived there. That was my first question. How long have y'all lived there? Because there's not even a trinket or anything on the table, not even a picture of his son. Nothing. It seemed odd. Guess not too odd. She finds a hairbrush in his bathroom. Now we remember Love is Blind. Was it Seattle? Or whichever one that Izzy was on? He had a little box of trinkets from past indiscretions. Yeah. Um Alexandre tried to say this was my son's brush. And she's like, oh, but your son's hair isn't this long. Now, Alexandre, you forgot that Renat is a lawyer. Okay? So when she looked at that hairbrush, she already scoped out the hair color is not yours or your son's, and the hair too daggone long, because she already met your son. You could have done that if she hadn't met your son. You could think that he got his hair's growing out, but you can't do that now. Sorry, Alexandre. And your little laughter at the end told me you were messing with us. Patrick shaves his mustache and beard, and he looks like a teenager. I'm sorry. He looks like a teenage heartthrob. I'm sorry, Patrick. You shouldn't have shaved it. You look older. And, he is a little bit younger than Marilia. And she is concerned every time he says, if they live together. She was very snippy about it. If we live together, why are you saying that? But the thing is, Patrick is making these changes because Marilia had said that she usually gets, her skin gets sensitive to being, whenever, cheek to cheek with a partner that has a beard. So Patrick, in a gesture, has decided to shave it. And he's insecure because now he looks way younger than you. And the thing is not to make him feel bad about it. She was laughing and saying, "Oh no, you look good." She preferred a beard, but you're giving him mixed signals, Marilia, giving him mixed signals. So Evandro and Ariella goes to meet her dad. Remember, her dad is from London, and they ask, "Do you speak English?" Evandro said, "Not really." He said, "Not really." The dad says, "Well, then you got to leave," and just laugh out loud. The dad says that Ariella is too emotional, and good luck with that. Her daddy is saying she's too emotional. Okay? Now, Dad, Ariella is too emotional. You raised her. You and her mother raised her. So she's too emotional. How did y'all teach her emotional regulation? Okay. Ivandra says the family is very, very nice. And the dad says after 40 years, he has held on for so long, he ain't going nowhere. He has learned to just keep it together. It's been 40 years. But he said he will support them even if the mom does not support them. And if the mom doesn't support it, he'll just keep his mouth shut and go with the flow. But we notice, and she says, her mother is not there. And the dad said, well, she's off running errands for so and so. She's off doing this. She's got a busy schedule. Dad, that sounds like mama don't support this at all already. Okay? So the dad says, where there is love, nothing can get in the way. So hold on to the love. Dad, I like that. But again, you raised a child without emotional regulation who is too emotional. So Renata asked the girls, let's get together. Let's get together. Let's have a good old time. I'll ask Alexandre to leave the apartment and have you all over. Marilia comes first and tells Renata, I'm worried that you're falling in love with Alexandre. The same thing you warned me about with Patrick. And it's one thing to fall in love with someone, but it's a whole other thing to surrender yourself. Marilia is noticing that Renata is changing. Now, again, is this a change that Renata is glad to have, or is she being forced to change? That is a question. Ingrid shares that she and Leandro have had some issues and they have not had sex for a while, for quite a few days. And Leandro feels pressured. And this whole experience is a lot of pressure, and it may give a man also a sense of pressure to perform. And she did discuss it with him to have this conversation out in the open. They feel it is important because, especially for Black men, there's a pressure to perform. There's a lot of stereotypes as far as their stamina. They believe they needed to have that conversation. And all the girls are like, you are so mature to have that talk with him. And put a pin in that, everyone, because later on in a future episode, we will see that they do put in the work to try and, alleviate that pressure. So Renata says now that they're in a little bit of the real world, you slowly can see people, their issues, and their baggage. Okay? Marilia talks about how she and Patrick have different routines, and he's kind of low energy. And that's a problem for her future self to worry about. Not now, because she's just happy. But the fact that he's a night owl and she's the early bird, and that she's doing everything around the house by herself while he sleeps in till 1 p.m., she's not gonna worry about that now. So, Marilia, are you putting on blinders? You can't let that sit and fester. You should talk about that because this is kind of concerning. So she said she's not scared and she's just going to live in the moment. Mm-hmm. We going to see about that, Marilia. So Ariella comes in an hour and a half late for the ladies get together. You heard me. An hour and a half late. She is annoyed because she comes in and they're like, girl, you need to tell us your story. What's going on with you, girl? Da, 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 da. They are just bombarding her for her information, and she doesn't know theirs. Why are they bothering me for mine? I haven't heard their stuff. Ariella, you're an hour and a half late. Everybody done had time to tell their story. You the new kid on the block, you gonna have to go first. The new kid on the block, you're gonna have to sing your school song. Okay. She wants to talk to Alexandre about how he and Patrick were party boys just looking for a quick fling. She would have to have a personal talk with Alexandre. And Renata's like, there's no reason to talk to him. That past is the past, and that ain't how it is. So Renata's like, everyone has a past. Everyone who came into the pods has a past. Let it go. Vanessa says she's had her exes text her. And Leo has just like, whatever. And it is, how can I say it? It's insecurity. It really is insecurity. Ingrid says it's not a problem what's happening with Ivandro and Ariella unless he is still talking to the girl. Is he still texting that girl? Or did he break things off? Because what you're saying ain't that big of a deal. And Ariella says only her opinion matters. She doesn't like what she's hearing from them. So only her opinion matters. And Ingrid tells her, stop being defensive, girl. We're just telling you as it is. It ain't a big deal. He had a woman before, situationship. He told her he going on the show. Let it rest. And stop thinking you are the only one he's ever had or the only one that got problems. So Marilia says to Ariella that she is always looking for a problem and she is always playing the victim. Bing, 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 bing. Daggone, Marilia. Why you gotta hit it so hard? But you're right. It's like everything is a problem. Saying, oh, you're not that heavy was a problem. Saying, oh, I had a girl before and I broke it off with her, but I told her I was going Love and Blind and I texted, ding, ding, ding. Everything is a problem. Everything's a problem for this young lady. And it's what Alexander's friend says, he has a blow up if things don't happen his way. Well, it seems like, whew, Ariella has the same thing. She is mad. So Marilia had said she had I guess, a date planned with Patrick. So Marilia is like, I'm leaving, I'm getting out, but y'all, let's have a toast. Let's say hey, and let's, go high five before I leave. Ariella is mad that Marilia is leaving and they're toasting after she just shared that Evandro is not being transparent and honest. Ariella, you are an hour and a half late. The lady's been hanging out. She's upset and she is running down the hall. And Vanessa and Marilia chase after her and bring her back. And I'm thinking, why y'all babying this woman? She an hour and a half late. Let her go. Let her catch the elevator or the stairs. Let her go. Because my thing is, you are disrespectful if you're an hour and a half late and you didn't even communicate with me. So truly, we should be mad at you because you're wasting our time. So Patrick says he loves to gossip and he can't wait for Marilia to come home. And Marilia tells him that Ariella brought the drama and brought up the party boy issue, and that Evandro had messages from the day of coming on the show. Leo looks at Vanessa when she comes home and like, she's standing here holding some food from the party, but she breathing hard like she done had to run after the food. And he said, who did you have to chase to get this food? He didn't know how close on the mark he was. He was like, maybe you should have run from Ariella, not run to chase her. Leo, please, you are so correct. Run from her. And so he asked Vanessa, well, what complaints did you have? She's like, I have no complaints, but I can't say that in that group because everybody have their own little complaints. I can't tell them that everything is perfect with us. She's like, I just kept it quiet. Patrick says that Evandro is not trying to trick Ariella, but she is not a safe space. Patrick, can you say it for the people in the back? Can you say it for the people in the back? Patrick said Ariella is not a safe space for Evandro to be completely transparent or a safe space for him to tell her things because she blows up. Patrick did ask, how is Evandro? And they don't know because they haven't seen him. So Mariella says Ariella is too paranoid. She's just too paranoid. And I believe this. It seems like it stems from her previous relationship. I was like, girl, baby girl, watch how he moves. Don't just, oh my God, I knew something. You're making me feel dumb and I'm an idiot. Ariella, pause, breathe, and watch how he moves. Because she even asked him, "Are you going back there to delete all your text messages? Are you going to delete all of them?" And he's like, "No, because I have nothing to hide." And you could see all the text messages are still here. Come on, I need her to get out of her whirlwind of a mind. So Marilia, it's the next morning, and Marilia says she feels alone because Patrick is either asleep or on his phone. Now, Marilia, I would think that, except there are quite a few times y'all are going on dates, y'all are going to your apartment, y'all had that bike riding at night, so he's clearly not always on his phone. At the times you want him, he may be otherwise engaged, is what I'm getting. You want him to wake up and be with you when you are free to do things, but he's asleep. But then when he's up, he's on his phone working and doing other things. She said she did the dishes, she did laundry, she cleaned up all while he slept. Now all this time she's doing this, she's doing a 3,000 piece puzzle on the floor, and she kind of pulled the carpet back. And I wondered, Marilia, are you going to just cover the pieces with the rug when you're done and just leave it under the rug? I wonder, do people do that? Do the puzzle piece on the hardwood floor, pull the rug away, have all the pieces scattered, start building it, and since you know you won't finish it, you're gonna just toss the rug over it? Because 'Cause you're not gonna move it. So what? I didn't understand that. I didn't quite get that. I'm like, what are we doing?" I was confused. I have questions, Marilia. I have questions. But she said she made peace with him being a night owl. It don't sound like it, Marilia. It sounds like you're still upset that he's a night owl, because 'cause you're talking about how you're doing everything while he's asleep. If you made peace with it, you wouldn't bring it up. So Renata and Alex cook together. They cook risotto, and Alex is like, "It need more water." "No, no, no, it's fine." He's like, "She's not a good cook, but he'll adapt." Alexandra, you sound like a married man already. You sound like a married man already. He said she has no skills in the kitchen. She's like, "Why are you gonna say that?" He's like, "'Cause of the way you hold the spoon to mix the stuff. You're holding it like a pencil." Alexandra, if you don't get out of here. Oh my gosh, it was so true. And I was like, yeah. He said he'll adapt. He gonna do the cooking. He gonna handle it. So we have Vanessa and Leo, and we meet his whole family. His godfather, which he also calls uncle, so I don't know if it's both, said he never thought Leo would marry. Ever. Leo, godfather sounded like he co-signing on this party boy thought that I have of you, but I'm a reserved judgment because you've been behaving yourself this whole time. Grandmother, sorry, was worried because she didn't know where he was and what he was doing. I'm tired of these people not telling their family, but I'm wondering if because they wouldn't understand or to keep it hush hush with the show. And this is the godfather said, did Leo tell you about his son? Son? Vanessa's like, what son? He hasn't talked about a child. Then godfather says, his dog. That's his son. I was dying laughing because Vanessa's face when she's like, son, he never said he had a kid. Oh my God, what are we doing? Her face said it all. Um, then the godfather uncle and dad is like, we looking forward to the bachelor parties. And grandmama said, seniors are not allowed. And uncle said, we're seniors, but we ain't old. You better tell him, uncle. You better tell him I may be a senior, but I ain't old. I can party and keep up. Leo, I wonder if they keeping you partying or if you keeping them partying. I don't know. So Leandra and Ingrid, remember I said Leandro and Ingrid were having a little trouble? Well, with intimacy because of pressure and lack of performance, and they went to do a tantric class to improve their connection. And I thought this was interesting. Now, ladies, let's talk about it. How many would actually help and think of different ways that you can connect to help relieve the pressure from a lack of performance? Now, we do have, younger and younger, they're saying, according to scientists, that gentlemen are having a harder time with, you know, performance. So, would you be as helpful as Ingrid is in this? So, she says that your touch and just being in each other's presence is an extension of intimacy and will help with their connection. And Leandro said this session is helping to take time with your body. It's not a, quick jump in. It takes time and he is willing to make the effort. And he's like, "We gonna practice more at home, dear." And which they did. She's like, "Close that door and get that camera out of my face." Ingrid, that was awesome. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we go to Renata and Alexandre. She asked if he could be more open because he seems scared, and he pulls back when she tries to show him signs of affection. He says he's dealt with all his stuff from prior relationships before he got on the show, and did she? Because these questions don't sound like she did. And apparently her breakup was more recent than his. And I believe that. But it sounded like Alexandra was very defensive. It's like, "Have you dealt with your stuff? Because I dealt with mine." It's felt very defensive. And she said it's because she cares for him and she doesn't feel like secure that he feels for her. He said he did not like the messages that her people sent her. He did not like the messages that she was getting from her friends and from, I'm guessing, previous people she's dated. But, he said, "Don't babe me," when she said, "Babe." He's like, "Don't babe me. Don't do it." He said, "How does he know it's not her own life she's upset about rather than being upset with him?" Alexandre, I'd give you that, but your tone was sarcastic as all get out. It was really biting. I understand why, but it did not sound very helpful. It sound deflective. Like, "Don't blame me for your issues." Sound like you got an issue over there. Don't bring it over here, is the tone it gave. He said, "You're upset I don't surprise you with gifts, but you don't surprise me." He tosses back everything that she said that, he does not do for her. He said, "Well, you don't do it for me either." He said, "You know what? All this arguing, I'm going to fall back. I'm going to fall back on this one." And this is right before his friends were coming for drinks. That is the end of episode 6 and the end of this review. But I will ask, have you had that where the person is saying, "No, I haven't done this for you because you haven't done it for me"? I don't really like that, Alexandre. I didn't like that response, but I'll give it to you. You're still trying to learn each other, but your tone, sir, your tone left a lot to be desired, Alexandre, because she doesn't have to do it for you to be able to do for her. It's not a tit for tat. A relationship is not you give me and I give you. You give me and I'll give you back the same thing. No, she's telling you what she needs. So you need to listen. And I think I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that because your friends were coming and it was imminent that this was not the right time to have this conversation. and you wanted it to end, and you were just like, you unhappy over there? Stay over there with your unhappiness." Well, thank you guys for being here for episode 5 and 6. I will be dropping 7 and 8, I hope, shortly, and I hope you did enjoy this. I would encourage you to like, share, subscribe to this channel. We will be certainly exploring these reality dating shows, especially those that are international. I am quite curious as to the dating, you know, dating differences and just absorbing information about culture. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.